All right, in the middle of this election mayhem that's going on all across the country, it's 30 days after the election. We still don't know who the president is. Joe Biden is going around masquerading as the president-elect, and we know quite clearly because the Congress, the U.S. Congress yesterday came out, the ranking member in the House on the Elections Committee said that there is no president-elect unless one president concedes or the electors have voted for the new president, and then you're the president-elect. So they're going around trying to pull off a hoax on you, that's for sure. And while they're drumming up all that fear, fright, and hysteria with the hoax and with the COVID and the masks and the closings again and the spiking and all this other stuff, lost in the shuffle are the amazing, earth-changing things that Donald Trump has done across the world that he's never got any recognition on, causing peace deals all across the Middle East, took out Soleimani, who was the #1 fomenter of fear and terror throughout the Middle East for Iran. And now, just after the election, someone in a high place decided that we should take out Iran's top nuclear scientist, which I like very much. And joining me right now to break that down and more of Donald Trump's accomplishments in the Middle East is Matthew R.J. Brodsky. He's a senior fellow at the Gold Institute. And he's advised the White House, actually, the White House peace team during the Pakistani-Israel peace deal. So you've been there, my friend. You've been right in the middle of it. A lot of these peace deals, some of them, in my view in history, shady and tepid. But it looks like Donald Trump brings people to the table and affects his old book title. He's got the art of the deal still down because he's making people become friends.
Right. Well, look, what I think President Trump understood and saw differently than certainly Obama, the predecessor, is that first of all, a very simple lesson: reward your friends, punish your enemies. I mean, it's that simple. And so when President Trump wanted to withdraw more American forces from the Middle East, his idea was, of course, to build up a force of America's allies who could handle these types of problems. And for that meant a stronger Israel free to deal with Iran's aggression throughout the region, specifically inside of Syria, which has been happening since 2011 at least, and trying to widen the circle of peace through the normalization deals that he was able to create between Israel and the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain and then Sudan. These are remarkable achievements, something like that has not occurred in about 25 years since the Jordanian-Israeli peace in the mid-90s.
So let me ask you this. There was a lot of hullabaloo. Donald Trump said when he met with Barack Obama before he took office, he asked him, what's the main threat we have out there? And Barack Obama said to him, North Korea. So I think this is another area where, people say, oh, he writes some love letters and, he's friends with a dictator. I think Donald Trump has done an amazing job of cajoling him, calming him, and just keeping him in a place where he thinks he's okay. Can that translate to the Middle East with some of these other deals with Bahrain and other places?
Well, the problem with North Korea is they have been very much involved in the nuclear programs in Iran. If you recall, actually, Syria in the mid-2000s was building a nuclear reactor in Dar al-Zor in the southeast area of the country. Israel found out about that, and this was a North Korean designed nuclear reactor. So Israel destroyed that, took it out, which obviously has made this situation inside Syria as combustible and horrible as it's been during the Civil War, at least not one with nuclear missiles. So North Korea has been very involved in this access of proliferation. The problem with dealing with North Korea is that we know that they already have enriched the uranium and have nuclear weapons. They're simply working on the delivery system, on the missile technology, which makes a negotiation to back them down that much more difficult than Iran, which has the know-how but has not actually enriched beyond the threshold to make a nuclear weapon yet, and is still also working on the delivery system, the triggering system, and of course the ballistic missiles. All of this, which was of course not covered by Obama's nuclear deal in 2015 with Iran.
So let me ask you this. If you remember all the fear, fright, and hysteria when we took out General Soleimani. Soleimani was known to be going throughout the whole Middle East and funding and fomenting all kinds of terror, fear, and war, working with all the worst terrorists in the world as proxies for Iran. And everyone said, oh my God, Donald Trump's going to get us in a nuclear war for killing Soleimani. Nothing happened, right? And now their top nuclear scientist has been taken out. People are saying it was Israel, but I personally hope Israel did it on our behalf.
Right. Look, the way it goes is Israel has done, if Israel did this one, and I have no reason to doubt that it was Israel, then this would be yet another occasion, maybe about the third that we know, where they have done something that the entire world should be thanking them rather than condemning them. Recall in the very early 1980s, 1980 or 81, they took out Saddam Hussein's nuclear reactor in Osirak in Iraq. Okay, that was condemned by everyone, including America, I believe, at the time. Imagine the situation in Iraq if they actually had nuclear weapons. Same thing with Syria, as I just mentioned, in 2007. And this, again, in Iran right now, which is the worst nation to have a nuclear weapon, given the amount of money that the Obama administration ended up giving them in order to arrive at a deal that didn't work to begin with. So Israel has always looked after its interests and has always made the hard decisions. And incidentally, I believe that that is a very major reason why you've seen the type of normalization that Jared Kushner's peace team has been able to achieve in the Middle East. See, paradoxically, when Obama was creating this horrible nuclear deal that everyone in the region understood actually guaranteed Iran would have a nuclear weapon in a certain amount of time, it scared these Arab countries and Israel and brought them closer together, where they began to realize, as Arab states, if they need an ally who was 100% going to be dedicated to preventing Iran from having a nuclear weapon, that ally is actually Israel. Because you could see in the United States, that ally doesn't exist apparently anymore unless it's a Republican in the White House.
Yeah, right. You know, it's so strange to me, Matt. It's so strange to me that people that are, you know, liberal Jewish Democrats, I know a bunch of people like that who are like huge Trump haters. And then I have other folks who I'm friends with, like at the Republican Jewish Coalition, who say he's the greatest president in history for supporting Israel. So it's like your point is well taken that Israel's our ally as long as we have a Republican in the White House. Otherwise, we're on our own and they're on their own, which is pretty sad. We got to leave it there, Matt. Thank you very much. Matthew R.J. Brodsky, Senior Fellow at the Gold Institute. Thanks, man. You got to come back with us and keep us up to speed on everything going on in the Middle East.
Thank you.
All right. We'll have you back. Matt Brodsky. We'll take a quick break right here. Oh, we won't take a quick break. Oh, you know, we're low on staff today. We got this new kid working here, Mikey Lopo. He's not that good yet. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's giving me the wrong hand signals. And he doesn't know, because he's not like you guys, he doesn't tune in all the time. He doesn't know that it would not be an episode of Liquid Lunch if I did not sit here and try to fool around and humiliate some new staff members at the show. But, you know, he's my boy, and I'm just busting chops. Otherwise, if I didn't like him, I wouldn't bust his chops. I just let him come and go. I wouldn't even look at him. So you guys are coming in strong today, which I appreciate very much. I do have a great guest. Michael Wilson's going to join us in just a few minutes. He's a celebrity whistleblower attorney. He's the host of The Whistleblower with Michael Wilson. And he has a bunch of things to talk about, including this crazy NFL. What's going on with the games? They're getting changed every other day. It's nuts. Okay. Whistleblower attorney Michael Wilson joins us in just a little bit. I'll come back right after this quick break with some news of the day, where I'm going to shock, amaze, and amuse you with some crazy information and facts to help stop the steal. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back after this.